G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an NZ-41. Players of Call of Duty Warzone will probably recognize this thing because it's a very distinctive looking weapon. It's a very ugly looking weapon. Here's what us tradies would call a dog's breakfast looking thing because, yikes. It's a bit of a Frankenstein's monster of a weapon. You've got bits of an old Lee Medford here, and they've just put a bunch of metal on this to create some sort of automatic rifle out of it. The favorite part here is how they just nailed a piece of timber there for the pistol grip and called it a day. Lovely. So, this thing was originally developed in New Zealand, which is where the NZ comes from, and designed in 1941 and produced from 1942 to 1945. And the reason these things exist is because resources were scarce during the war, and we didn't have a lot of those precious metals to make a lot of extra Bren guns and Lewis guns for our machine guns. So what they did is they took some old obsolete rifles, which you can see just little bits of here, mostly with the stock and the trigger assembly, and I guess the magazine as well, and they've turned it into some sort of monster automatic weapon. Now, how does this translate to in-game? Well, you can change this thing from being semi-auto to full auto. You can attach scopes, suppressors. We'll just get into the attachments now because there's not much else to say about the history of this weapon other than that it was like 1,500 of these got created and then like the shed that was stored in burnt down. Now there's only a limited supply left. I think you'll find them in war museums though because, you know, they're going to hold on to a few of these and put them on display because, you know, this is what they did. This is the ingenuity back in the day to take these rifles and turn them into something as hideous as this, but it was effective, I guess. Well, I don't know if they saw that much use, but I'd much rather use a Bren gun than this cobbled together mess of a thing. Anyway, so for the receivers, you've basically got the same as you would with any other weapon in the game, in the vanilla game at least. So advanced is your most powerful semi-auto, auto powerful is your strongest automatic thing. So we'll chuck that on. That'll actually reduce our range by a significant amount, so we won't be able to snipe as much. Worth mentioning that we're almost pushing 300 damage already with the advanced receiver, and this thing does fire 308s. I guess that's close to what the British round was, this thing was originally chambered in, so that's pretty cool. Right now, it's got the standard barrel. We can have an orb weaver. That one's got tape all over it. This orb weaver is 360 millimeters, and this one's 480 millimeters. You'll get an increase in range. Weirdly enough, this barrel has a higher range, so I guess we're going to be using that one because why wouldn't you? And we can chuck on a foregrip if we want, including a skeletal-looking SMLE grip, which kind of looks like what you'd have on the Thompsons. And then you've got this one, which is from the Thompsons. So I like that aesthetic. It's even more of a Frankenstein's monster weapon type deal here. So now we've got more of this. That's interesting. Looks lightweight. But if you go all the way down, you'll even get some cool looking marksman stocks with a cheek rest there because I guess that's better than nothing. And you've got this one which has a little bit of the stabilizing thing there, which says stabilizes weapon when crouched, mounted, or prone. Now you can only crouch in the vanilla game of Fallout 4, and I wonder whether that's actually going to change the accuracy of this thing whilst crouch. But for this one, we'll chuck on this one. Generally, the ones you go that are further down and have a higher rank requirement are the better ones, so we'll do that. You can have a bipod on this if you feel like it, a bayonet, a flashlight, or a laser sight, which don't look like the standard tactical laser sights that you get on all of the modern weapons mods. Although the bipod, again, this thing says extra stability when crouched, so I'm going to chuck that on. I'm going to crouch when using this thing, see if it's going to be like, I don't know, super accurate if I do that. And next we can chuck a compensator, a muzzle brake to control recoil a little bit, or a suppressor on it. Now this thing does has custom sounds when using this thing suppressed and unsuppressed, so we'll be looking at showing those off as we go along. And now we've got the sights, which now we've got standard irons. We can have reflectors on there, which I guess add a little bit of glow sights, or they're just slightly more open so you can see through them better. You've got some weird mock reflex sight looking things, and as you scroll further down you'll find that there's a few scopes as well, which I don't mind. Let's just go for some sort of reflex sight here, just because an automatic weapon would be slightly better at closer range if we can see what we're shooting at. Right now, we've got the standard mag that's chambered in 308s. Everything except for the last couple of mags will be chambered in 308, but this will tell you exactly how many rounds are in the chamber. This one will give you a slightly faster reload and makes it look a little bit different. This one thing will change it to 5.56 rounds, giving you slightly less power, but more ammo capacity, and you can chuck in 5mm as well, which adds this big, long, banana-looking thing. We might want to use that for an automatic variant, but I think we can't pass up the 202 damage here. We're going to be losing quite a lot of that if we switch to a different caliber. You can change the sprint to a tactical sprint, so you can pretend to play Warzone and Fallout 4, and a damage modifier is there if you need it. If you want to crank this up to 100% extra damage to offset the amount of damage you get penalized for in very high difficulty, you super can. Alright, that's one of these things we'll be creating. I'll get a couple more and we'll start shooting stuff. Righto, so we're outside of Immersive Gunners Plaza again, and it's just occurred to me that I've loaded an automatic rifle with a 15-round magazine. Okay, so, this might be a little bit tough. Anyways, here's the NZ-41 in first person, going over to third person now. You can see that most of the engineering here is on display. Your hands don't really hide that much of it, but as you can tell, some of these have suppressors, some of them don't, have half and half. The sounds are the same if it is semi-automatic or automatic, but they'll differ if you've got a suppressor on, obviously. Anyways, so knowing that we haven't got like a magazine size worth having, we'll start sniping at him. We'll just be easy on the trigger a little bit. We'll try to pick them off one at a time. We can get a lot of good power out of this thing. And maybe we'll just hug this little ridge here so I don't get shot. This might be just a VATS weapon because there's a lot of visual recoil felt here, and I think there's a bit of spread to go along with it as well. So if I could just chain headshots like this all the time. Too bad I don't have any AP to deal with that guy. There we go. Took him out the old-fashioned way. We actually have to aim at him. It seems that with chest shots, I can scarcely get a kill using an entire magazine, which is going to be a problem if I'm taking on multiple at once. So let's not take on multiple at once. We'll go up here, and maybe we'll switch over to something a little bit more high capacity. As you can tell, the time to kill on these guys is a while. I feel like this weapon is certainly punching above its weight because, these guys being hardcore mercenaries, endgame type enemies, going against something like this, it's a little bit scary for it. The bashing animation, however, even if you have a bayonet, if you don't have a bayonet installed, it'll still be this little poke forward there, which I think is kind of amusing. You'll see, well, potentially that's advantageous because the bash animations are quite quick, and if you happen to roll a critical and get 300 or so damage on your foes, then that's probably better than nothing, right? Let's switch over to something else. This is the semi-auto suppressed one now with a big old scope on it, which I'm going to go over here and maybe I'll try to get some sniping happening. Escape artist, please. As you can tell, we're back to standard night vision here, so I've uninstalled Galactic Retribution in a hope to stop the crashing a little bit. But now, well, usually it rains at this point during a Gunners Plaza's raid, so that's not happening, but we'll endeavor to sort this fight out anyway. That's a Molotov coming in too. You love to see it. We'll go for a crit. That's... The crit's actually killed him there. And the bullet comes in. 701 damage. That's pretty good. But we're going to need a little bit more to finish off. Oh, that's a boom bug. That's alright then. They'll be distracted on that. I'll take out this gunner. Ouch. Someone's shooting at me. I recognize that sound. That's an ASVAL. They're nasty in combined arms too. They're also really loud. Like, I reckon they're actually louder. There's some reload sounds as well. Combined Arms is a brilliant weapon mod, but it just has so many little annoying things about it. Sometimes the reload sounds on enemies is way too much. And, oh, we're getting sneak criticals now. Let's get some... Never mind, we're back into danger. I just heard the combat music kick in. We'll kill Mr. Man Bun. Hopefully the second bullet will do him in. Not quite. Probably should have seen through. I'm noticing that I'm getting 100% accuracy with this thing, so you bet your ass I'm going to spam some VATS criticals with this, I think. We even get a Grim Reaper's sprint roll there, which I think is pretty great. Probably not much point trying to sneak now at this point. Mysterious Stranger not having much to do there. This one has a slightly shorter scope and potentially, I mean, less damage because the suppressor is not, you know, boosting Ace Operator or anything, or equipping Ace Operator. But we're in a bit of strife here because this thing is not strong. It's not very powerful. I'm going to activate Nerd Rage here because for some reason it doesn't activate normally. We're going to get a big old damage boost, maybe. Actually, we're going to stand in front of a bunch of dudes shooting us. That's a level up. That's my AP back. Alright. There we go. Now it's my turn to strike. And I think I just got some collateral VATS shooting there, which I think is pretty neat. Let's go for the head there instead. We'll follow up with a critical and a gun through damage. There we go. Just tanking those 50 kills all day. We make them tough here at Captainoob. There goes the gunner with the Gauss rifle from the Creation Club quest. Good old-fashioned money shot there. And now it's starting to get darker, and we're still struggling. A lot of modders out there, they like putting a lot of visual recoil into their weapons. So maybe we just... Well, maybe the recoil is a little bit more than visual. By the feeling of this, and... Alright, we need to switch weapons here. I can't aim. Aim's off. Won't be playing Fortnite later, that's for sure. There we go. Alright, so we're going to go in third person now because the jumping and the bouncing of the reflex sights, not particularly favorable. We can sort of keep this thing a little bit on track. There seems to be very little in the way of initial recoil, so if I just spam mouse button 1, we can keep this thing slightly on target. We're definitely not hitting levels of the PCAM machine gun that I used recently, that's for sure. And quite honestly, you can have this place. I don't feel like being shot anymore. And what we'll do instead of, you know, being shot by gunners over and over is we'll run over to where the Swan lands. Now, there might be something over in this random encounter zone. We'll just start sniping at him. There we go. There's some bloody Rust Devils there. Now I get no sneak criticals. So we'll have to deal with that. And then we get to test this long-range sniping ability, because I haven't really done that against the gunners. So, a lot of spread going on here, I reckon. And what have I got down there? Boom bugs. Large erratic boom bugs. They probably won't last long against the giant super mutant over there. No, he's just stomping on them. He's literally stomping on them. Although that one's having a crack at least. I think he's mutated. Yeah, he's mutating. He's legendary. We can, however, knock him down if we feel like it. So at least this thing capable of being utilized with the sniper rank 2, which is the one that gives you knockdowns. You'd think it'd be the best one. And fun fact about these boom bugs is that if you decide to shoot them near an enemy, there's our sneak criticals, by the way. Now they're gone. I guess there's another one. But, yes. You get the knockdowns at just the rank 2. Now, if we can keep them at bay and nice and taken and sort of... I mean, we're getting 1500 damage if we hit him in the head from here. So I think this thing's range is, like, massive. And apparently VATS couldn't see him for a second. We must be very much on the edge of it, and getting like 81% shots from all the way back here, that's kind of unheard of. Go for a critical now. So I think we've got this one pretty much on ice at this point. So we'll just put some higher DPS shots on him from back here. Good old power stealth commander. Gotta appreciate the reflexes to know exactly when you're out of bullets to pop a fresh mag in there. Alright, so I think you get the point of this thing. It's a very well-made mod. The sounds are cool. The animations, I think, are very well done. The recoil, I think, is a little bit dramatic, but we are firing 308, so, you know, I guess in the way of realism, I guess we'll let that slide, because normally, if you're firing 308s, the recoil is going to be more like that. So, yeah, they've taken, I suppose, a little bit of liberty. Ouch. I just got hit so hard that I saw the edge of my first-person model, which is my arms. Can you stop that? Thank you. And with that goal per encounter finished, we'll have a little bit of a sit down in here, a little bit of a recovery. If you are interested in seeing this weapon, I actually think it's pretty good. If you're a fan of Call of Duty Warzone and this is a weapon that tickles your fancy, just the design of it, which I think is the sort of the best part. They've really captured it really well here, and they've done well to bring the weapon to life in Fallout 4, and I definitely recommend you check this out if you are interested in this weapon. Links will be in the description below. I'll check out if there's a Xbox link as well. Generally, people are pretty good with porting them, so I hopefully will see something in that. Links will be in the description if I find them. Thank you very much for watching, guys.